Reaction is Florida Republican Congressman Allen West. Colonel, how are you? Welcome back.
Doing very well. Thanks for having me on.
How you like it down there in D.C.? They're not corrupting you, are they?
No, we're able to swim in this cesspool very well.
Look, I'm listening to the president tonight. I'm very discouraged. Why did he even bother to send the troops in for the surge, which he took a long time making a decision on, and only gave a fraction of them? Why did he even bother if this was the plan? It doesn't seem to make sense to me. Why isn't he listening to General Petraeus?
Well, I think one of the things that you saw tonight was a highly politicized, mission accomplished speech that was absent of the aircraft carrier and the banner. And I think that you saw the facade of a president that wanted to get involved in the combat theater of operations in Afghanistan, but really that was not his comfort zone. I think when you look at this speech, the money line that the president used was that America, we're going to start nation building at home, which is exactly what he'd like to have his focus on. So this ended up being more of a campaign speech than really a strategy speech for that combat theater of operations.
I asked Senator McCain this. Did you find it odd, as I did, that he didn't bring up General Petraeus' name in this speech?
You're absolutely right. No talk about some of the incredible theater commanders that you have there, General Petraeus and maybe some of the other subordinate commanders. A hat tip to the Marines who have done an incredible job down there in Helmand Province. But, you know, that is why this speech was really focused more so on the president, because you look at what has recently happened with his poll numbers.
All right, the war is ongoing. The conflict is ongoing. He's saying the war is going to end. He's telling the enemy the date, this artificial deadline that he set. Didn't talk about winning. Who won this conflict?
Well, one of the interesting things is when the president says that we are going to conduct this drawdown from a position of strength. That's absolutely false, because you still have a very vicious, a very determined enemy that is still on the battlefield. And I think the important thing that we have to understand is, how does the Taliban and their propaganda machine take the president's speech and spin it for their own accord and spin it for their own recruitment? How does Al-Qaeda, who is an entity, an organization that maybe we had on the ropes, now spin this to increase their roles and also embolden themselves to conduct more operations?
Look, I don't want to give the enemy any ideas, but I would be thinking that if I'm in the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, I just wait out the American troops. It's not really that far away, and you know, at that point they have free reign to go back to whatever they want to do, and they'll be waging war and trying to take control of the country again, won't they?
You're absolutely right. It's not just what the Taliban would do, but now also start to think about, what will the tribal leaders and those people who were willing to trust us in Afghanistan do? If they see this end of the road and it's coming very quickly, what do you think they will start to place their allegiances? Because in that part of the world, having spent 2.5 years in Afghanistan, they only understand strength and they only respect strength. So they're going to lend themselves and their efforts toward who they believe will be the strong man at the end of the day.
You know, you mentioned the politics side of this earlier, and, you know, what bothers me, and we're going to get into the poll numbers in the next segment here, there's been abysmal poll numbers all across the board, every poll for the president, and why do I suspect that the president thinks he needs to shore up his left-wing base here? Do you think that was a big consideration for him?
Well, when you hear a lot of talk about war fatigue, that's one of the things that he wants to do. And once again, it has never been in his comfort zone to be the commander-in-chief. I think he was far more comfortable in accepting the Nobel Peace Prize. So he's looking to move away from that and reestablish himself with the anti-war left. But once again, the thing that you always have to understand, Sean, is you can say as the commander-in-chief of our forces that combat operations is over, but the enemy still has a vote.
What did you think when the president went lawyer shopping after he rejected the views of his top lawyers at the Pentagon and the Justice Department as it relates to their position on the War Powers Act and his need to go to Congress to get approval for the ongoing, I'm sorry, they're not hostilities. Even though bombs are being dropped, war is being waged, he tells us it's not hostilities, for the ongoing something in Libya. Do you think that the president, you know, do you think there's some culpability there? Do you think he's thumbing his nose at the law, picking and choosing which laws he wants, and is that an error on his part?
Well, absolutely right. I do believe that. That's one of the big discussions we had today, because the War Powers Act is very specific. There's no ambiguity in the language there. And I have to disagree with Senator McCain. I don't think that Libya is an operation that we should be in. We have a very nebulous and objectives. And the thing is that those people that are participating in that operation are receiving imminent danger pay. So I think that there are hostilities over there. And if you're having a bomb dropped on your head, that is definitely a hostile action. The actions in Libya do not meet the criteria that is found in the War Powers Act. The president has had the 60 to come and get the authorization for military force and the use thereof from the Congress. He has not done that. He sent a very nebulous report that came from some underlings in the Department of Defense and Department of State. So we have a crisis that we have to stand up and abide by the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, and you're going to see the House of Representatives exert itself. And this is not a partisan issue.
He's given the former President Clinton a run for his money on parsing words. Now we're defining what the term hostility means. Good to see you, Colonel. Thanks so much for being with us. Good luck in Congress.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, Sean.
Now, it has been a rough week for the anointed